Streaming on clickorlando.com. You're watching News 6 at 10.
If you're going to get down to the 20s and 30s, you have to take care of yourself.
It's all about compassion. We have to look out for each other.
Now on News 6, some good advice from a man who helps shelter people from the cold and a man who lost his power. Central Florida is bracing for the coldest cold blast in more than 1,000 days. Jonathan.
And the temperatures are taking that tumble tonight. Temperatures already back to the 30s in spots, and we will continue to fall from this point on. We're going to break down how cold it gets in your neighborhood in a few minutes.
And protecting those cash crops will take you to a popular U Pickett Grove to show you the challenge of keeping 1,800 orange trees just warm enough.
It breaks my soul to know that I took Austin's future away from him.
Emotion in court as a former deputy admits he killed his best friend, accidentally shooting him. The victim's brother, though, is not convinced by those tears.
Don't point a firearm at another person without the intent to kill that person.
ICE is in the community and that they have made pretty large hotel reservations.
With online rumors piling up, a local congressman says ICE agents are here. So we're digging in, asking what's really happening in Orlando.
But we start with a real ice alert. Freeze warnings are out for nearly all of Central Florida. In some areas, expect a hard freeze. Brace yourself for the coldest air we have seen in years. Good evening. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
I'm Matt Austin. Glad you're with us. We're talking 30s, even 20s in some places. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. Outside, those pipes could really be at risk.
Yeah, especially just northwest of I-4. I'm not too concerned with anything inside unless you were to lose power. We're going to get back into the 60s tomorrow. So again, we're not talking about an extended stretch like that where it's going to really impact the pipes. But exterior pipes in Marion, Sumter, Northern Lake County, certainly want to make sure those are wrapped or leave them trickling tonight so they do not freeze, as we will be below freezing for a big chunk of the night. We're already back down into the mid-40s in Orlando, upper 30s in Jacksonville. The core of this round of cold still hanging out by Atlanta and into Nashville. That is en route to Central Florida. It will be here by the time you wake up tomorrow. Our cold front from this morning back out into South Florida, into the Atlantic. Cold front number 2, though. So there will be a little bit of a warm up as we get into the start of your weekend. But then another blast of cold arrives behind that. Hourly forecast for tomorrow. It's going to be really cold when you wake up. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s. We do rebound back to the upper 50s to around 60. Sunshine will be dominant. The wind will not be as strong. We're going to get into that part of your forecast and talk about the secondary round of cold coming by the end of your weekend, coming up at about 10:19, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, the frigid temps have already made for a busy day in Lake County. Hundreds were out in the dark for hours when winds blew limbs onto power lines.
Yeah, power crews will be out all night reacting to any problems. Also all night, a warming center in Eustis is caring for people whose homes don't have heat.
News 6's Troy Campbell saw it all. He is live at Mount Dora. And Troy, how's the cold feeling?
Well, I got to say, now that the wind's not blowing, it feels a lot better because once those wind gusts hits, it definitely feels a lot cooler in the air. We do have our thermometer out here and we are monitoring all night. We've been watching it just go down. We know temperatures are sitting at about 40 degrees. We caught up with some people here in Lake County who say they're just trying to do the best they can to get through this cold.
This is us looking out for the community.
Alex Puig is the cold weather shelter manager at Life Point Church in Eustis. He says they activated their facility Thursday night after being contacted by the Lake County Office of Emergency Management. People can come in here, eat. He let us inside as they welcomed people who needed to get inside from the cold. Why would you say it's so important that there are places like this for people to come when the weather gets so cold?
It's all about compassion. We have to look out for each other.
Puig says there's several reasons someone might find themselves in need of a cold weather shelter.
A power outage, a failed electrical system, anything could affect someone's household.
I was just going to put some lunch in the microwave and everything went dark.
Over in Mount Dora, Scott Simon says he was inside his house off South Clayton Street just after 1 p.m. when there were strong winds outside. How would you explain the weather around the time that the power did go out?
It was Very, very windy. There was debris falling in the driveway. The trees were swaying back and forth. There was some flickering going on.
Duke Energy cited the reason for the power outage as falling debris. Simon says he's thankful. He just had a generator installed at his house.
We've been having it installed, and they just hooked it up and tested it two days ago. And this morning, the county came and did the inspection on it, and the same day of the inspection, the power goes out.
With the cold temperatures expected into Friday, Simon says he's thankful the power is restored in his neighborhood.
This cold weather's coming, and timing is everything, right? If you're going to get down to the 20s and 30s, you have to take care of yourself.
And again, we're out here in Mount Dora. We have our thermometer. We've been watching it just go down. Temperature sitting at about 40 degrees, and we know that they will get colder. Life Point Church says they do plan to have their warming shelter open through Monday. We have a list of all those warming centers in Central Florida up on our website, clickorlando.com. Live in Lake County, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Thank you, Troy. Well, it's no secret our area is known for its oranges, and the orange groves that are left are at risk from this cold.
Yeah, News 6's Ashley Garrett saw firsthand how Yummy Harvest in Lady Lake plans to keep 1,800 trees alive.
Yummy Harvest in Lady Lake on edge. It's all due to the threat of extreme cold.
I mean, concerning in a way that if it goes lower than 29 is very, very bad for our trees.
Yeah, we're expecting 20-degree temps, especially the closer we get to Thursday overnight, tonight, into Friday, tomorrow morning, and wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Oscar and Tanya Torres, though, no stranger to something like this.
This will be the third time where we've hit temperatures one specific time 2 days in a row in the 20s.
What did y'all do?
Basically, we need to make sure that every tree receives water during that time. So like this, the water releases heat and it brings the temperature up.
Forms like a blanket.
How much money goes into something like that? Being able to have enough irrigation systems for your 1,800 trees?
In this case, for 12 acres that we have here, is in the tens of thousands.
So that explains why, even more so, why you all are concerned about the weather event coming in tonight.
Yes.
A lot of money has been put into your investment here. Oscar and Tanya hoping for the best, but if things don't turn out in your favor, what's the plan then?
Wow, that's a really good question. I don't want to even think about it.
We don't even think about it, honestly. We don't consider it.
We need to replant probably.
Replant,
A lot of people love our grove, and we want to continue in the citrus business.
Absolutely.
And the owners at Yummy Harvest tell me that they are a U-Pick orange farm that's going to be up and running through the end of February. And let me just tell you my personal experience. Look at this bottle here. It was filled to the top, but we are more than halfway in. And on camera, I'll show you just how good it is. Yep, just then, it's still yummy indeed. In Lady Lake, I'm Ashley Garrett for WKMG News.
An emotional day in court in Brevard County as a former deputy who shot and killed another young deputy while playing video games admits he is guilty of manslaughter.
How do you wish to plead to the charge of manslaughter?
Guilty, Your Honor.
3 years ago, when he was 22, prosecutors say Andrew Lawson pointed his gun at 23-year-old Austin Walsh while the roommates played Call of Duty at home in Palm Bay. The defense argues Lawson didn't know his gun was loaded and they had played around like that before.
It breaks my soul to know that I took Austin's future away from him, that because of what I did, not only will I never be able to talk to Austin again, but you guys won't be able to either.
Ever since the loss of my brother, I have not been the same. You don't point a firearm at another person without the intent to kill that person.
Austin's brother, Alec Walsh, says for a trained officer, fooling around with a gun is no accident. A mental health counselor testified Lawson has bipolar disorder, PTSD, and has thoughts of suicide. We don't know when the judge will decide whether he deserves prison or probation.
Is ICE planning a major enforcement operation in Orlando? Responding to a lot of chatter online, Democratic Congressman Maxwell Frost says yes, ICE agents are in Central Florida and they've made, quote, pretty large hotel reservations. Your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, spent the day trying to figure out what's really going on. He started at a meeting of concerned faith leaders.
We do not want to see any replication of what's happening in Minnesota and Chicago and elsewhere.
Faith leaders Thursday signaling they stand in solidarity with immigrants who they fear may be at risk of being detained. But is there truly a surge in ICE enforcement? People on Reddit and Facebook seem to believe there is.
Even when I open TikTok and I search the words Orlando and ICE or Central Florida and ICE, I see a bunch of videos made by people warning others about an increased presence of federal law enforcement officials.
Is there any piece of concrete evidence, maybe an observation firsthand from anyone standing behind there, that gives you confidence that there's a surge in resources by ICE?
We've seen some actions.
Hemos visto acciones.
We will not expose people.
So I'm finishing up an email to the Department of Homeland Security just to see if they can give us any insight and confirm if there's any validity to these claims.
Now, we've reached out to the city of Orlando, Orange County government, the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and Osceola County Sheriff's Office, but we are no closer to getting a concrete piece of evidence that ICE is gearing up for some type of operation.
We've received multiple reports of heavy ICE activity in different parts of Central Florida.
Congressman Maxwell Frost posting this video on Instagram Thursday.
ICE is in the community, and that they have made pretty large hotel reservations in surrounding hotels as well.
But he did not say in the video how he was able to confirm this.
We don't know everything.
We're still waiting to hear back from the Department of Homeland Security, and if and when we do, we'll let you know. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Well, if your phone didn't work yesterday, you're not alone. Now Verizon's saying, I'm sorry, and they're giving you a partial refund.
But it's not automatic. How to get your credit on your cell phone bill when News 6 at 10 continues. And of course, the big story remains the Florida freeze. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas breaks down county by county what you can expect overnight and when you wake up.
6 months before this couple was to be married, the groom unexpectedly died. Although the wedding will never take place, the bride says she's been unable to get her money back from this ballroom where the celebration was supposed to happen.
You're watching News 6 at 10 on a Thursday night. We are covering Winter Park, Winter Springs, and all of Central Florida. This portion of the news is sponsored by Central Florida Honda Dealers. Now on News 6, tragedy struck 6 months before a couple's big day. The groom unexpectedly dies from a heart attack.
Although the wedding and reception will never take place, the bride says she cannot get her money back from the ballroom where the celebration was supposed to take place. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest explains.
The Crystal Ballroom here in Lake Mary is where Ty Hinson thought she'd be marrying her best friend this coming spring. When her fiance, William Coney, suddenly died just before Thanksgiving, Hinson says her wedding vendors voided all their contracts and gave back her money. All, she says, except this one.
This wasn't like a cancellation. This was a person died.
Hinson, who resides in the Panhandle, tells me she and Coney wanted to get married in Central Florida because their love story began here. The couple met at Orlando's Fashion Square Mall more than 20 years ago.
I called them 2 days after he passed away to make them aware.
Hinson acknowledges she signed a non-refundable contract with the Crystal Ballroom of Lake Mary. Still, she assumed the company would give back at least some of the $7,600 she paid for the wedding venue.
Her suggestion was maybe you can do a memorial here on your wedding day. And that, even now, sorry.
The owner of the wedding venue encourages clients to purchase third-party cancellation insurance. In a statement, the company says Crystal Ballroom has served thousands of couples over many years, while also encountering a small number of illnesses, accidents, deaths, military deployments, and other life events. These experiences shaped our policies and procedures not to avoid responsibility, but to protect clients, vendors, and the venue in a fair, transparent, and legally sound way.
I respect a contract. Again, I'm a business person.
Hinson understands the wedding venue has a legal right to keep her money, but she says the experience has made the loss of her fiancé even more painful.
The last payment that I gave them was literally 2 days before he died.
Hinson's wedding planner has put together this GoFundMe page for her. I discovered one of the people who donated to the fundraiser just happens to be the owner of this ballroom. Now, he did not publicize that donation. Instead, in a conversation I had with him later, he said that it was done out of compassion in his personal capacity and not on behalf of his company here. Mike DeForest, News 6.
Well, tonight, St. Cloud City leaders are reevaluating how they handle proclamations, normally routine ways to congratulate someone or raise awareness for an event.
Yeah, but they quit making them altogether last June when someone objected to a gay pride event. News 6's Tylisa Hampton tells us what came out of tonight's debate.
After a 5-hour workshop and several breaks on Thursday night, St. Cloud City Council members agreed to take up a new proclamation policy. The new draft agreement says they will only consider naming proclamations about events and causes the city directly sponsors, puts on, or is directly involved with. You will recall they voted last June to quit making proclamations that month after one supporting the LGBTQ+ event Proud in the Cloud sparked disagreement on the council and divided some living in the city. Those kind of proclamations are often routine and rubber-stamped in most cities and counties, but Thursday's new draft says council members must take up a vote on each and every proclamation. Nothing remotely controversial will be considered. During the meeting, commissioners said they liked having clear guidelines, but reiterated they care about every person who lives in the city. The city manager says the draft could come up for vote in February. In St. Cloud, I'm Tylisa Hampton, News 6.
Well, Verizon says its massive network outage is over. Last night, we thought a few 100,000 customers couldn't make or receive calls. I was one of them.
Yeah, it turns out about 2 million lost cell service nationwide. It ended during News 6 at 10 last night, right as we were talking about it.
Yeah, we still don't know why it happened, but on social media this morning, the company posted this. In part, quote, yesterday, we did not meet the standard of excellence you expect and that we expect of ourselves, end quote. Verizon says customers who lost service yesterday will receive a text or email that allows them to claim a $20 credit on their bill. Once you receive that link to claim the money, you'll have to use the My Verizon mobile app. It's not automatic, but it is pretty easy. I actually did it tonight in about 2 seconds.
Okay, so if you're still having signal problems, though, try powering down and restarting your phone. If that doesn't work, you probably have to head to a Verizon store or contact customer service for a fix, and you're likely due more than $20. That's just me saying that, not them. But do apply for your $20.
Yeah, I wouldn't count
Ginger's
on
in
it.
charge.
Meteorologist Jonathan Kegis joins us now. You are due for some 20 degrees, depending on where you live.
There you go. No, absolutely. It's going to be cold tonight, guys. Temperatures, especially northwest of I-4, that's where we're going to have the best chance for mid to upper 20s. Right now, we are taking to tumble. Titusville, good evening. We're a breezy 46 degrees, 45 in Palm Bay. Groveland, we're already slipping back into the lower 40s. Same for us in Bushnell. 37 is the coldest spot on the map right now, and that is for us in Ocala. And again, we still have that gusty wind out there that will gradually subside throughout the rest of your evening. And gradually overnight, we'll watch those winds really settle down. But we are going to be waking up to this. 20s and 30s across the board. Denell, it'll be at 25 to start your day, 26 in Ocala. Average hanging around 50, nowhere close to that. 34 in Orlando. We're at 34 in New Smyrna. Melbourne, good evening. We're going to start our day at 37 degrees. The positive, though, the wind is going to back off significantly. It's going to start doing that overnight and then through the day tomorrow. You see wind gusts anywhere from about 10 miles an hour through the morning. So the wind chill is not going to be as much of a factor once you wake up. It's just going to be downright cold when you start your day tomorrow. So here is cold front number one. When you say there's a number one of something, that means there's another one obviously on the map, and there it is back there. So this is the one that we're going to be tracking as we get into the second half of your weekend that is going to reinforce the cold air that we just dealt with or about to deal with tomorrow. Denellen, good evening. This is where we're going to start again tomorrow into the middle 20s, 31 on Saturday. We do have some improvements on Sunday morning. Again, it is going to be chilly. But then you see what happens again on Monday. We start to take the tumble again. It's not really until Thursday and then really towards the end of the work week that we start to get back closer to where we should be for this time of the year. Live look in Daytona Beach right now. Air temperatures in the lower 40s under a mainly clear sky. That breeze still up there a little bit. We have gusts to about 20 miles an hour along the coast, sustained at about 10. We're going to rebound a little bit back to the upper 50s tomorrow. We're at 58 in Mount Dora. Ocala, we're at 57, hanging around 60 in Orlando. Titusville, we are at 61. We will have sunshine. It will be deceptive. Rain chances are going to be 0%. Over the next few days, a little bit of ups and downs coming our way. So in between the two fronts to see what happens. 60 tomorrow after that really cold start. Still very cold Saturday morning, but 30s and 40s, so a little bit better. Then we're back to the lower 70s on Saturday. That's going to be the best part of the weekend, really the best part of the next 7 days. And then we get back to Sunday. That's when the second front comes in. It holds temperatures back to 60. Rain chances going up a little bit. Monday morning, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we're back to the 20s and 30s. We'll top out into the upper 50s and then gradually trying to pull out of this one. By Thursday of the upcoming work week, we're going to jump back into the lower 70s. It's not going to be really until that next weekend that we really start to warm things back up, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, many of us were out there covering the plants, but imagine having to protect hundreds of acres of them.
Yeah, Pearson's the fern capital of the world, so millions are at stake as the freeze looms. Next at 10, how growers are working overtime just in time for their busiest season of the year.
Local fern growers here in Pearson are working around the clock right now to save their harvest before Valentine's Day. Now, they ship these ferns all over the world, and what happens over the next 2 days could actually affect their business for the rest of the year. Now, looking at these ferns, it might be a little hard to see on camera, but there's a difference between the colors. There's a light green and a dark green. This light green, those are the young ferns. Those are the most susceptible to the cold, and those are the ones they'll harvest for Mother's Day. Now, this business, this is their livelihood, and these holidays are the biggest part.
We're right in the middle of doing all the harvest for us.
David registers with Fern Trust Incorporated here in Pearson. Using new technology, Register says they can now monitor their 200 acres of ferns from Pearson to Putnam County.
We can put one of these little temperature sensors like this in that area, and that allows us to monitor what the temperature is.
If the signal reads anything below 33 degrees, they then use this pump to turn the water on that'll warm the plants.
You're pretty well in bad shape if your pump cuts off during the middle of a freeze.
Now, I talked to a lot of ferneries here in Pearson over the years, and they all have told me that when it gets this cold, they save their workers, tell them don't work when it's this cold, and they have the water running so that when it warms up, they can get back to harvesting, saves them from getting sick. So depending on how long it stays cold, they're gonna have to put in some serious hours to get to harvesting before the holidays hit. I'm your Volusia County Community Correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
Find all of tonight's stories plus breaking news on News 6 Plus.
Free to download to that smart TV or streaming device. We'll see you in a bit.